All right, so like I said, I've been asked quite a bit about Warrior best in slot gear. I don't really want to go into too much information about best in slot and you know, come across that way, because the game is constantly changing. And a week from now, people would come in and see this and be like, oh my God, that's so wrong, and blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. So I don't usually like to do those kinds of things, but I did decide that, you know, let's go ahead and go over my gear, and I'll give you a little bit of reason why I use this gear on my Warrior. Hopefully it helps you all out. I will put a link to all of these items and some notable items for Warrior down below if you are curious about that. But, you know, feel free to discuss and let me know what items you may use and why you use them over the things that I am talking about. So let's just jump into it. These are my items. This is what I use on my everyday stuff here. And I do have a few items down here of note that I'll talk about briefly that you may want to go and grab. But let's just start from the top and we'll work our way down. So I use the crystallized silver coif. I prefer this because, you know, it's decent armor class. It doesn't have the highest, but it also has 2 strength, 1 stamina, and 18 parry rating, which is very good for the Warrior. So I prefer that. I am currently using the bladed earring still. There is a better crafted earring, which is this one right here. This one is what I'm going to get. I just been very lazy lately and not really wanting to go after stuff. I've been playing some alts, etc. So I would go after this probably for my Warrior at this point. Or you could go after a crafted earring that gives you strength or maybe constitution. I'd probably say the strength 10 health earring is good. But this one also is good if you want a little bit more hit rating. I'm not going to go into all of that detail right now, but the short version of this is almost everything in the game at this point for me is blue, dark blue, or undercon. So there's really no reason to have a lot of hit rating. It doesn't really help me that much, which is why I'm probably going to switch to this earring soon. I just haven't done it yet. Next up, we have the Orc Fang earring. This is, in my opinion, by far the best second earring in the game. So absolutely go after that. It's got 3 strength, 25 health on it. Very, very good earring. Amulet, I would say get the Necklace of Geldasi Ward right now. It's got 5%. So the Constitution is good because of our gear or our skills down here are based on Constitution and Strength. So Constitution is good for us. Magic Resist is okay for us as well in certain circumstances. But it's really this buff over here, the Boon of the Geldasi. Now, do want to say before you go and camp this is going to change. It's going to actually, the Boon of the Geldasi is going to go away, but it's going to be a longer quest line, and it's going to upgrade the necklace to add the boon. That is the idea, is what's supposed to be happening. So I would say go ahead and farm this, go ahead and get it now, and you know, have it ready to go for that. I do have another necklace that you could go and get, which is this ceremonial collar down here, which is also very good because it's got the 3 constitution and 25 health on it. So also very good for us, you know, us warriors. Those are the 2 that I kind of recommend for that. Shoulders, you have 2 different options here. You have Dark Chain Mantle. This one, very easy to get, so I would recommend people to go get it. It's just, you know, out of treasure chest. But it's got 29 armor, which is really high armor for a chain piece. 2 stamina, 2 dexterity, both very, very good for tanks. But another option is this one down here, which is the Blood Spattered Pauldrons. Same armor class, but it's got 1 agility, 2 constitution, and 25 health. So depending on which way you want to go with this one obviously has more health. It's got the constitution, which technically gives you more armor. And then also it increases your damage down here. Plus it has the agility, which increases your dodge rating and parry rating, which is also very good. So this one has a little bit more health on it because it's going to have 2 stamina, 21 health each for me at level 48. So this one's going to have a little bit more health than this one, but, you know, there you go. The crystalline coat. This one is just hands down the best chest piece in the game for warriors and paladins and dire lords and rangers. I mean, it's just the best. I would recommend going to get it for anyone. Another one that you could possibly go get is the Icy Plate Cuirass. This one is very good because it's going to give you more armor. It's going to give you 8 more armor, and it's got 2 strength on it, 1 stamina. This has 3 stamina, so you're going to get more stamina out of that. And this one has the 2 strength, where this one also has 2 strength. So this one, it's just so much better. But this is, I may switch to this sometimes if I'm tanking something, but I just don't see the point in that extra 8 armor for the loss of, 36 crit rating and the extra health that comes with it. So, just go get this. It's off the Crystallized Will. Goghem's Fur Blanket. This is probably the best back in the game. The only other one that I would recommend is this down here because it's got the 25 health on it. This one's obviously a little bit easier to get, the Heavy Fur Cloak. But if you can go and kill Goghem, then there you go. Get this one. It's got the 1 strength, 1 stamina, 1 constitution on there. Fantastic. Coming over here to the bracers. The Tundra Forge bracers is what I would recommend. It's got very high AC on it even for plate. When you compare it to something like your Temple Blood Iron Van bracers, which is going to have the 2 agility and constitution, or if you wanted to have something else like, it's just 16 armor class versus 28 armor class. The extra 12 armor class does actually make a difference. So I do recommend these. And it still has the strength, the stamina, and the constitution. You're losing a little bit of, constitution or agility or whatever you want to get on your crafted. But you're gaining a decent amount of armor. So I would say either one of those are fine. Some crafted ones or this one. This one's super easy to get though, especially if you're higher level and you're looking for best in slot or equivalent, something close to that. The Gaofeng belt. This is the belt that I personally like to use. It does have more armor than the Osharuk belt here. But the Osharuk belt does have the stamina on there, so it depends on, do you want a little bit more stamina or do you want a little bit more armor? This does have 2 strength, 2 dexterity, which the strength increases your damage. The dexterity is going to increase your physical crit rating and your hit chance. I personally prefer to use the Gaofeng belt right now, but I do sometimes switch it out for the belt of the Ice Fang. I usually use this on like a twink or something, so that's why I sometimes put it over on a twink and I just keep my Gaofeng belt myself. I need to go get a second one for twinking classes. But anyway, those are the 2 belts I would recommend. As for gloves, there's really not a whole lot of gloves in the game. There's 2 options that I look at. This one is pretty good. It's 4 strength, 18 hit rating. Crafted gloves, obviously. The 4 strength helps out considerably. Another option is this right down here, which is 2 agility with 27 hit rating on it. So this is going to give you more hit rating. I'm not sure why this is higher hit rating, but maybe somebody knows what's going on with this. This isn't even blood iron. It is just made regular. So it's got 2 agility on there and then 27 hit rating for some reason. So those are both good options. I would probably go with this one with the 4 strength because 4 strength is going to be more beneficial than the 2 agility. But if you really wanted that extra 9 hit rating, which is 0.5%, then there you go. Pants, there's no question about it. These are the best plate pants or warrior pants in the game. With 3 strength, 3 stamina on them, high armor class. They also have some resistance on them. We're going to go down here to jewelry. I'm going to skip this for right now. Go down here to jewelry. There's several different options you can use here. I personally prefer the Jagged Band and the Warden's Lost Ring. The reason for that is because both of those are plus strength. So plus 3 strength here for more damage, plus 2 strength here for more damage as well. So plus 5 total strength from these 2 items. So, it just helps you do a little bit more damage, which helps maintain threat. This one also has parry rating and health on it. So it's got 1% parry, making you a little bit more defensive. And then it's got the 10 health, which is also really nice. This one does also have 5 armor on it, which again, armor is beneficial, whether people want to say it isn't or not. I mean, it's not like this be-all, end-all amazing stat, but it does help, and you don't want to really run around with no armor, because if you run around with no armor, you will be taking much bigger hits. So armor does actually help. It's just kind of debatable on whether it is worth the point in armor over something else. Some notable rings, though, I do want to go over. So there's the Ring of the Investigator, which has a ton of health on it. So if you want to maximize your health, you would go Ring of the Investigator and the Prize Pig Nose Ring. That's going to maximize your health. This one's like 84 health on this, and then 61 plus 25, or 63 plus 25, so another 88 health on this ring, plus 2 armor on that, and then plus 2 armor on that. So these 2 would be, a lot more health if you wanted to go that route with a little less armor, because you're going to be losing the 5 armor here. I would say that if you're tanking, these are probably better. Like if you are tanking something that's chunking your health, these are probably better because you're going to get most of the armor and a ton more health. Another option, if you really wanted to go into the armor side of things, is the shielded band here. It's got 12 armor, but it only has 15 health, so you could mix and match these if you wanted to go that route. I did also skip a notable necklace here. You could go after if you wanted to. So this one's 3 Constitution, this one's 3 Constitution, and this one has, obviously the 5% damage on it. But this one right here is a good tank necklace that comes off of the skeleton. It's got 2 armor on it, 3 to magic, fire, cold, and shock resist, and it's got 18 dodge rating, which is 1% dodge rating. So this is a good tank necklace, to give you a little bit of extra edge when you're tanking over something else. Now, the 3 Constitution is obviously a little bit of armor. This gives you 2 armor, so it's about the same armor-wise. But this is going to give you that dodge rating on top of it and a little bit of resistances if you need that. So just wanted to throw that out there as another good one. For boots, I do like to use the Boots of Escape. I prefer these. They actually do work. You do run faster. You notice this a lot when you switch characters. You use this for a while and then you switch characters. You definitely notice it. I don't know if it's like 5% or 10%. I'm not sure what the run speed is on them, but it definitely is a little bit faster. And it is noticeable, especially when you're trying to pull. If you are a tank that pulls for your party, it really does help out. It also has 2 stamina on it, which is a lot of health, and 2 agility on it, which helps you with your parry and your dodge rating. Another option would be these boots down here. So 4 Constitution and 16 health, the Guardian Blood Iron Sabatons. Very, very good option if you do not have these boots right here. These are also more armor, plus they have the Constitution, so they're actually, in fact, a lot more armor. I think Constitution is about 75% of an armor point per point of Constitution. So 4 Constitution would give you about 3 armor class, just so you know there. So if I put these on, I will go up by approximately 7 armor class over this right here. And we can see that if we go to our armor, we are currently at 287. So that should go up to 294, if I am correct, 293. So like I said, it's not a full 1-to-1 ratio. It's like a 0.75 or something based on your Constitution. So it's, anyway, that's just throw that out there just so you know that information. Weapons are kind of a debatable topic right now. I personally prefer the Fell Spike and the Blade of Carnage. I put the Fell Spike in my main slot because this does affect your techniques down here. The Fell Spike having the higher damage. If you look right here, weapon damage 14. So whatever you have in your main hand dictates this weapon damage right here. That extra 1 point of damage is added into your techniques. So I would recommend putting the Fell Spike in your main hand and then having an offhand of the Blade of Carnage. Some other notable weapons though that I do want to go over. The Crypt Breaker here has the 18 dodge rating. It also has high stamina and strength on it. So a very good tanking weapon if you wanted a little bit more defensiveness. You can go with that 1% more of the dodge rating, which is really nice. Rip Smack, also a very good weapon. It's got the crit rating on there, and the dot proc is very nice once it procs. And if it stays on, it's actually a decent amount of damage that it ticks quite often. You have a Spear of Endless Frost. It's another really good weapon that you could go after. This dagger I don't think is talked about enough for warriors. It's the Fang of Shade Spider. And it's got 1 strength, 2 dexterity, and then 18 hit rating on it. And it's a 2.2 delay. So this is one of your faster weapons for a warrior. There's another dagger. I'll put it down in the description below. I just don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I believe it's 11 damage with 2.2 delay, but it doesn't have the hit rating on it. So, depends on which one you want to go with on those. But both of those being very fast will get you more readiness. And readiness, is kind of king right now because it allows you to use your abilities more often. If you want to go two-hander, it's not really my favorite thing to do, but sometimes I might go two-hander, and I would use the Blood Inlaid War Gavel. It does hit very, very hard, so you can get the big numbers, 200, 300 damage crits sometimes, which is really fun to see. But anyway, that is what I would go with if you wanted to go that. I do recommend these 2 weapons, however, just overall. the feel of these two, the extra crit rating from these two, it just all helps out. You can see I have 12.4% crit chance. I'm getting 3% here and 1% here, plus the dexterity on both of these. It adds up that crit rating very quickly, and then all of your abilities crit. So I just feel like these are the best. Plus they both have a proc on them, and this one heals you. So it's just, all of that together just makes these a little bit better. Finally, we have bows. Bows are debatable, what's going to be good. I personally like this battle-tested short bow. It's got 2 agility, 2 dexterity on it. It also has 12 physical damage, which is nice to have. For when you're pulling, you get a little extra damage on there at the start. It's not much, but it I guess will add up. But it's really mostly about the 2 agility and 2 dexterity, which are, each of those are 0.2. The agility would be 0.2 dodge rating, 0.2 parry each point. So it's 0.4 to each of those. And then dexterity is going to help out with your accuracy a little bit, which again, I don't think you need that much of at this level. And then your crit rating. So that's really nice. Now, if you can't get this bow, another option is a crafted bow, which is the Cedar Shadower's bow, which has 3 dexterity and 14 hit rating. Sometimes I will switch to this to get that little bit of extra accuracy, because that gives me an extra almost 1% accuracy when I use that bow, which could be beneficial when you're trying to fight something that is higher level than you. But again, I just don't think it's necessary. Finally, we have the Fang-Tipped Arrow. The Fang-Tipped Arrow is best in slot arrow for pretty much any class that can use it, the Warrior, Rogue, Ranger, and Bard, whenever the Bard comes in, because it's the only one that really has any type of stats on it. It's got the 18 physical crit rating, so it's giving me 1% of my crit rating here, which is very beneficial. There is another bow that is 14 damage. I believe it comes off of the Gogum pig up there, and it's got 14 damage on it, but it doesn't have any stats from what I remember. I don't actually have that bow because I never really cared to sit there and camp it long enough, because it's just 2 more damage, and the damage doesn't really matter. So there you go. As far as shields are concerned, should you use a shield? And that depends. If you're taking a lot of damage, then yes, a shield will help. You will be a little bit squishier if you are doing dual wield. And it also is going to depend on your healer. If you have a cleric healer or a druid healer, the more you attack, the more you heal. So having dual wield is very nice because of the divine favor or the talisman. So kind of keep that as a factor. Another thing is threat. When you have dual wield, you will have higher threat because you're going to be doing additional attacks. You'll be gaining more readiness. You'll be able to do more abilities. So you're going to have higher threat when you're dual wielding. You will, however, be a little bit squishy. So there are 2 notable shields that I want to talk about. This is the first one, which is the Consecrated Shield. This one is the Quest Shield. Very good. It's probably the second best shield in the game, in my opinion, and it has a proc that randomly procs back to the enemy when you are hit, and does about 20 damage, give or take, depending on the resistances, etc. I believe it's divine damage. So there you go. That's what that one is. It's nice. It's very good to have. It's about a 30%, I think, when I use it. Yeah, 30% block chance. If you add the shield banner to that, you can get it, much higher. So depending on your level and which shield banner you're using, etc. So there you go. That can benefit you quite a bit when you're blocking and reduce your damage. The shield that I do recommend, however, is the Brace of Claws. So it's going to give you more health. It's going to give you hit rating and the damage shield on top of that. Also, it's cool. It looks awesome. It's a unique look on it. So I do highly recommend this shield. The damage shield on it is really where it shines. It's going to constantly just be reflecting damage every single hit. It's basically just a full-on damage shield, like having a druid or a summoner in your party. So I do recommend that one if you are tanking something very challenging. I believe that is everything. Finally, the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Warmonger's Totem. I think that any melee class needs this in the game. It benefits the Warrior, the Rogue, and the Ranger probably more than anyone because all of their abilities, I guess not necessarily the Ranger, but the Warrior and the Rogue, pretty much all their abilities are physical. The Ranger has like a nature attacks, and I think the Rogue has some poison attacks, but the majority of their damage does come out as physical. So this thing really does help out. I highly recommend going to get this. It's going to increase your damage substantially and your threat because of the bonus damage. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the overview of my gear.